The co-main event, Charles Oliveira versus Tony Ferguson. Love Tony Ferguson. Interviewed him years ago. First met him, I want to say it was 2013. 2013. I met him at Star in Hollywood. Really nice guy. Down to earth. Interviewed him down at 10th Planet, I would say about a year later. And it just seems that all these big opportunities that he potentially has, something happens. Khabib gets hurt. He gets hurt. Something always happens where Ferguson never gets his due, or he never gets that big shot. And this is something, and I feel bad for Tony. I mean, I don't know him personally, but just getting to meet him a few times and knowing some of his coaches, he's a really hard worker, obviously a fan favorite, and to see him get handled the way he did by Charles Oliveira is really sad. He's 37 years old, mentally tough. I mean, that armbar that Oliveira had him in, most people would have tapped. I don't know if his arm is something's wrong. Has to be wrong with his arm. There's no way that his arm should be bent that way. And Oliveira had it sunk in. He had the armbar in a proper position. So I think Tony mentally was just trying to wait it out because he knew he had 10 seconds to go. What does he do? I mean, fighting is usually a young person's sport. You see those few and far in between fighters like Bernard Hopkins, who fights till he's 50, but he didn't have the same success as he did when he was a little bit younger. Daniel Cormier himself says, at some point, someone's going to beat you. If you keep on fighting, you're going to lose. That's just the name of the game. You can't retire 100-0, right? There's not a way to do it. And with Tony Ferguson, 37 years old, what does he do? I think Tony Ferguson couple years ago, 2 years ago, doesn't lose to Oliveira. 3 years ago, doesn't lose to Oliveira. If Oliveira was where he's at right now versus Ferguson 3 years ago, prime versus prime, I think Ferguson wins, but this is not a prime Tony Ferguson. Right? This is someone a couple years away from 40. And we see with fighters that get older, the toll hits them, the sparring, the fights, the actual matches, the wars they have. Maybe the wars they had when they were young. What do you do? How much better can you get at a certain age? Yes, your skill can get better. Yes, you can learn some new things, but the athleticism starts to go away. The healing process starts to go away. The creaks and the cricks and the different joints that aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, they just aren't the same. Oscar De La Hoya said it best when he said that in his last fight against Manny Pacquiao, his mind was telling him what to do to throw a shot, but his body wouldn't react. So his mind knew what to do, his body wouldn't do it. I think that's a lot when people get older. That's the mind is willing, but the body can't always do it. It's one of those tough things. I'd like to see Tony get a big payday, one more big fight, maybe. It losing to Oliveira though puts him back. I mean, the scores were 30-26, 30-26, 30-26. It wasn't a close matchup. He didn't have Oliveira hurt. Oliveira had him in tons of trouble. And that fight against Gaethje, that took a toll on him as well. That was an absolute war. He had to be, the ref had to save him in that one. The damage he took in that fight against Justin Gaethje. What's next for Tony Ferguson? Don't know.